all right, all right. Good people. Thank you so much. There she is, the queen. Appreciate you joining in, babe.
No
You
problem.
know, yes, we're
I
back.
appreciate
Another
you.
another part of CheesTake. You know we get down, y'all. Last week was kind of wild. But we're back in the house. I probably
She
go
froze like that.
babe, you froze right when you start that dance move. It's kind of live. I think she froze again. Man, I think you're freezing up, but it's crazy.
You know what? I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna come back on. Let me do that.
No,
You're doing good
Let
right
me
now.
no,
try
you
that.
good. You
You're
good.
good right now, but I don't know what it was. I don't know if you just initially.
Yeah, but out. Y'all going in and out on me.
Okay, I think it might be a
Freeze.
So I don't
connection.
know.
So
Everybody clap your
I
hands.
don't know why.
yeah, I don't know why, but we can. Okay, so we need to get you. I don't know if you need to come back in or do what you do, but but babe, your face is freezing up for like the weirdest things. For real, for a good thing you cute, you know, because you freeze at the wrong moment. Don't make no
Oh man.
faces.
Tell me anything and making ugly faces.
Don't make no ugly face.
Making
I'm
ugly
just telling
faces.
you
Look.
because you freezing up. See, there you
Oh
go,
man.
and they freeze like that. Then all of a
If it stopped, boy, I'm gonna phone that. I'm gonna take a picture.
sudden. But man, thank y'all for joining us again. We in the house. Yep, and there it is. Honey, you
Oh, it really
froze.
did freeze.
It did freeze like that. Man, you got to come in back out. You're freezing up with all them crazy expressions.
Oh man.
All right, she coming back. She coming back. All right, man. So appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Got my boy with me, man. Chris in the house. Kingfish.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? The rest of the crew, as always, man, they doing some other. I talked to Daytria the other day, man. He got a lot going on with the kids and stuff. Demont traveling. I think he's in Jamaica right now. He stay going. So,
Man, I
you
don't
know,
even think he live here no more.
yeah, I
I
don't even
really
think so
don't.
for real. So he's in the house. That's the fellas, doing what they do. But first and foremost, always want to give honor to God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man. Without God, I don't know where my life would be. I don't know where I would be in my life. I owe him everything, and so when I get on any public forum, platform, anything, I just want to always acknowledge him first and foremost in my life for just, first of all, waking me up this morning, for my life, my health, my strength, my well-being. One of the most underrated things people take for granted in life is when, it's coming back home. You leave for work, coming back home. There's so many people that never make it back home. Y'all be seeing the accidents on the freeways. Y'all see some of the stuff that happened in the news. I mean, it's the most underrated thing, man. So count your blessings. And if you got up this morning, you made it out that door, you made it back, you're blessed. All right. So I just thank God for his mercies are new every morning, for giving me another opportunity to do some things. I don't ever take that for granted. And so and then secondly, definitely want to thank my amazing wife, man. She made that little intro that you guys saw. Um, she's executive producer of this show. I mean, she really the glue to hold a lot of things in my life. You know what I mean? Real talk. And
You're the glue.
you know, no, babe, real talk, babe. I won't be able to do a lot of things, and y'all don't know a lot of stories, man. But this woman has helped me through so much, and taught me a lot. And so always thank you, babe, for just being part of my life, man. And just always rocking with me. You know what I mean? It's one of the most underrated things, man. Understanding that the people's role in your life, and so that's kind of a nice little segue to get into what I'm going to show. I'm gonna show a little video clip But a lot of times, man, we need to get
Thank you.
clarity on some things. Always, babe, love you. Um, you know, we just get clarity on some things in life, man, because a lot of times we don't know the whole story. We don't really know everything. And we tend to just take things, man, and just once situational things happen and just kind of go crazy with it. Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play the clip. You know how we start the show, play the clip, we want to talk about it, and then to kind of rock with it. All right, so give me a second here. Let me set it on up. All right. So here we go.
If you're going to call out something, call out the behavior. Give the attributes of that behavior and all that kind of stuff. But you ain't got to call people out. But we would talk to who other people talk about, and that we would hold space for them. Because no matter what you think about a person, until you sit down to talk with them and understand them, you don't really know.
Yeah.
You got to be able to listen before you speak. And that's one of the things that's not happening in our culture right now, is people don't take the opportunity to listen. Hear me. They don't take the opportunity to listen past what they've heard. I heard what you said, but I need to listen to understand what you meant.
Yep.
That takes time. If you're going to
it's so crazy because what he's saying just kind of registered for me. And for a lot of people that don't know, my father has been battling, some sickness and stuff for a little while. He's been battling this thing for like 5 years. Didn't really know about it. My father is old school, very prideful. And he one of them old school men that they don't talk about stuff like that. Anything sick, anything going on with their body, they don't really go to doctors and all that other stuff. They just don't. They go when something wrong, like most men. But they don't talk about that kind of stuff. So, a few months ago, my father reached out to me. And, if you don't know any history, and like I said, I don't mind talking about this, because I think we got to just talk things out, man. We don't put things out here, especially with family. There are a lot of generational stories that go around the family. Like your uncle did this, and grandpa did this, and cousin do this, and auntie so and so had this, and you never get the whole story, right? You never get like how that even impacts your own life. So what he was saying makes perfect sense because, like I said, a few months ago, my father had reached out to me. Now, I've known my father most of my life, but most of my life, my father hasn't been there. Those who know, and there are a lot of people who don't know. But my father, he raise us? Yes, him and my mom raised us. But my father left. When my father left, my mom left my father because, she just couldn't, stay being married to him anymore. And so for a long time in my life, I thought it was the opposite way. Right? I thought my father walked out and left because the only thing I remembered when I was younger is the house being put up for sale. And so I never had the conversation with my father, never really opened up about, anything else about it. And then my father just kind of took off and, he stuck around for a little bit after that, but, then he just went to travel and did missionary work and just was gone. And then there was some personality traits about my father I didn't like, and I just was like, so I had a lot of resentment towards my father. I did a lot of resentment, a lot of things built up that I didn't, I'd never addressed those issues, right? And there's some things in family that we don't address. So kind of fast forward to what he was kind of talking about, that, in our communities and our homes, man, we just can't, don't just say when somebody says something or somebody going through something or just a disagreement or something happens, you got to get the whole story, right? You got to find out some background. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know what somebody's dealing with. And then, you might come in and just be the tip of the scale, and then so you get all the aftermath of what's really going on, and you don't really understand. And so for the first time in my life, I can admit, I got a lot of clarity in just talking to my father. You know, when he got sick and I had to send for him here and I had to help take care of him, I will tell you, forgiveness is real. Forgiveness is real. Because if you don't have that, the Bible talks about that. You hold up a lot of blessings in your life. But in just the course of, being around my father, there's a lot of things that I was able to say and a lot of things I was able to ask him about, but a lot of times I just listened to what he was saying. And like my man was saying here, just listen sometimes and you can get some answers. One of the biggest things that I got was when my mom left my father, it really crushed him because, the kids was his world kind of thing. So he didn't have his family anymore. And so, when you're young, you don't think about those things. You know what I'm saying? You're young, you're not thinking about like, okay, your parents split. How does that parent feel? Or how does this other parent handle it? Or how does this other parent do things? Until you get as an adult and you've been through some relationship things, right? And you've seen some things. And somebody done dogged you out, and somebody done left you, and somebody done made you feel a certain way. You get what I'm saying? And so now I get another perspective of what my father is dealing with. Now, I also learned about my father's personality, which I never really took time to know, but I didn't get a chance to really know him. So my father's really a loner for the most part. So a lot of times when I was growing up and I realized after my father left, one of the things I resented him for is that he wasn't really there, right? When I could call him up and say, Pops, hey, this is that and the other. But as I learn now, my father was really never that guy like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't going to be that guy that's going to give me all that advice like that. My father's real old school. And if you have an old school parent, their whole mantra was, you're going to learn through experience pretty much. You see what I'm saying? Like they weren't going to sit down and have no conversation with you on that level. So even if my father was around, there's a lot of things he would not have done anyway, because that just wasn't his personality.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe, right? Maybe. But no, it really wouldn't, Chris, because as I got to talk
getting to know him, you kind of realize that our conversations would be different. It would be one-sided because now you get to talk to him on an adult level instead of talking to him on
as a child, right? You know what I'm saying?
And as a child, he may not have received you,
right? I wasn't able to ask certain questions or have certain things. You get what I'm saying? And so I say that because a lot of times, man, we harbor so much resentment and so much hurt and so much things from people who we believe hurt us, and we never get clarity, right? We never get the full story, right? Because if it's an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend you're dealing with, a lot of times when you split, you go your way, they go their way, and y'all done chirp at each other in a horrible way. But then family is a little different, right? You hear stories about this part of the family or this person in the family, but you never really sit down and listen to the entire story. So I had an amazing opportunity to just talk to my father, just through this course and just know some things he was going through. Again, don't make any excuses, because if you leave, parents split up, you don't, necessarily just got to go away like that. Right. You should establish a relationship with your kids, but he was never that. My father's never that kind of a person, right? My father's not the kind of person to have fun with like that. He don't go to the movies and hang out, and we're not going to go get, spend that kind of time like that to where we have all these fun moments that you see. That was never him. That's just not his personality. Does he would like to do things? Yeah, but as I got older now, I started to realize that one, I understood why my mom left, right? Because it's hard to live with somebody when you're completely opposite. And then two, him being who he is, I got to understand, okay, you know what? He's still human, right? He went through this. He's dealing with this. He kind of close himself off from people so he don't get hurt. So my father would come off as standoffish, you know what I mean? And he don't deal with people. And he would say that for years. And I was just like, he's just this mean, horrible person. And then it's just like, now he's gotten older, you know, of course he kind of older and senile a little bit. So he gonna say some stuff off the top of his dome.
He not senile. He know what he's saying.
You know what he's saying, but he just kind of, you know what I'm saying? He kind of in a weird way, kind of,
So,
you know, I'm like.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So you say he's kind of standoffish. He doesn't really deal with people.
Right.
Right. But also you said he was he went did missionary work.
Right. It's kind of crazy.
How?
That's it. Well, that's it right there.
What I'm getting at is you choose. You choose when you want to be standoffish. You choose when you want to be not around people. You choose those times. So it's like my father. My father wasn't a loving type father like that.
Yeah,
he wasn't affectionate. He's more of, I can show you I love you without having to say it or doing all these different kind of things.
Same thing.
And I would see love in him from how he was with other people.
Mm-hmm.
He was a minister. So how can you minister and not show love?
Right.
We could not understand that at home.
Right.
Exactly.
But we would see you out with everybody else and you love them and this and that.
Father, same way, Chris. Same way.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
so it was always a thing of, not at some point in time, man, you're going to have to show me the same that you show them.
Exactly.
Because I feel like charity, love, starts at home.
Exactly.
It does. I agree.
Exactly. You cannot teach someone how to be if you're not doing it.
Exactly.
I agree.
That's exactly how I feel. You cannot teach someone to read if you don't read.
Right.
Come
exactly.
on. You know what I mean? You
that
can't.
Part.
Hey, you need to be reading a book, but you need to be reading a book over here. But you got your phone.
But it's a hypocrisy in Christianity that lies like that, because people will say you love God and you say you're a Christian, but you don't show it. You show it when you, like you say, you choose to show it in certain arenas instead of showing the God you love like you're supposed to, right? So
I think
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
No. Go ahead.
No, I want you to finish your statement because I'm going to say something.
My thing is, you want forgiveness, but you won't forgive.
That's it.
You're right. Yes.
You want forgiveness, but you won't forgive. Don't be a person that's talking about God, this and that, whatever. Mm-hmm. You won't forgive no one, but you want God's forgiveness.
Right.
What I think it is, and this is just my opinion. And it should be that way. It should be that way, Chris. My father was completely different. He was the nurturer. He was the person who did things with me and my sisters. He was the one that was always in our lives. Whatever he was teaching us, he was teaching other people. He would ask us questions. He was the type of person, if he asked you to do something, he would ask you in a question form, which meant that he wanted us to do it.
Right.
I can't stand that.
Man. I know. I expect you to do it. You just say yes, sir, and go do it. But he was courteous enough to ask. So I did appreciate that, right? So I think that when you have those fathers who are a little bit more harsh with their children, they just treat their children completely different from how they would treat an adult. But and that's the old school way of thinking, I think, because there were a lot of adults that looked at children and was like, stay out of grown folk business type of thing, or do as I say, not as I do type of thing.
Exactly.
Or they even had it where if I tell you to do something, it's just because I told you to.
Right.
You don't have to have a reason behind it. So they just treated us completely different.
And a lot of times is there's reasons behind it.
Right.
There's reason behind it.
They were
We are
great.
we are a little bit more lax with how we treat kids nowadays because we don't want to. Well, I remember how I was treated like this, so I was treated like that. I wasn't.
Well, there's more to the story, right? We have real feelings. So
Yeah,
it's like,
but
like we don't just tell me do as I say, not as I do. Like your feelings didn't matter, right? And it's like,
but see, I believe with more explanation, it would probably been it would have been
clarity.
better. I think it would have been better.
Right.
I mean, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, no, don't stick that in that light socket.
Right.
Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So, okay,
you want to get
electrocuted? You might be the type. You might be the type person that needs to go feel what it feels when you disobey.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it happens, man. I mean, your situation is and it's sad to say, your situation is not an uncommon thing.
Right. And that's what we're talking about.
Especially when you go through a divorce and the kids have to deal with, being in one place and being in the other place, or, not even being in the other place. And I didn't have to deal with it. There was one instance when, and I could speak on it, there's one instance when my mother was going to leave my father. I don't know why. All I know is but God. Because when she came to me and was like, hey, I'm going to get an apartment over by your school. You want to come live with me? And I'm like, that's a weird thing to say. What you mean you're getting an apartment? You got a whole house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then as a young child, I'm like sixth grade, and it kind of clicked. I'm like, oh, nah, she's trying to leave.
Right.
So she says, yeah, you want to live with me? I said, nah. If I ain't living with both of y'all, I'm not living with none of y'all. I'm sixth grade.
How old were you? Sixth grade.
Sixth grade. That's probably
so. Where were you gonna live, 12? Chris?
Had no clue, but obviously that was God led for me to say that because she didn't move.
Right, but it's like stayed. Right, but see, that's the conversation right here. Like a lot of times we get older now. I think this is the conversations we need to have with some of our parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles to get some real perspective, because a lot of times the way you've turned out in life and the things you've been through, they've been through the same things, right? Because you're part of, like, love it or not, all of us got two parents that we're part of, whether you know them or not, right? Whether you know your father, know your mother, part of you is your mother, part of you is your father.
Traits.
You got their traits. So some of their experiences, if you could get there, especially as an adult, if you can have a real conversation with them and really find out some stuff, you'll realize a lot of your stories are similar. And talking to my father, he does a lot of stuff now that I can't even tell you I've never seen. My father's like more grateful now. Like Chris could tell you, you know what I'm saying? He thanks me all the time, right? He's really open about things now. Because one of the things that I believe he saw was the fact that forgiveness was real. Right. I was an adult and I didn't hold resentment anymore. I needed answers to stuff, right? Because that anger builds up. Right? Sometimes you have these unanswered questions and you can't get them answered because you got all this resentment built up.
You're
because
human.
Of what you human, right? Because of what you feel, what you've been through. But if you step back for a second, a lot of times what your parents did, you have some experience in that. You done got your heart broken. You done been dogged out. You done been left. You know what I'm saying? Some of you got kids now, and like you said, somebody may tell your own kids that, look, daddy about to get an apartment, mama about to get an apartment, you come live with us. You see what I'm saying? So, they say that the circle of life, repeats itself. Yes. So a lot of times, we got to be able to look at our parents now, and then find some forgiveness in some of this stuff, because there was no manual in parenting. But at the same
There's no
time,
manual in relationships
in
either.
relationships,
No.
right? And doesn't make excuses for anything, but it gives clarity. One of the things I have in my
Yeah.
life now, and it brings peace for me, is clarity,
Mhm.
right? So I
Yeah. Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
more. Don't always agree, but I understand. Oh, that's what my father was thinking. My father told me, he said, man, when he left and he disappeared for those years, he said he was like, he was lost, right? He lost his family. My mom
Mhm.
left, and then
Mhm.
as kids, we chose, you naturally, a lot of times you gravitate to your mom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You want to go where mom go, right? So now imagine as a man, you lost your family, your kids
Mhm.
gone, you really don't have a lot of things. And a lot of fathers deal with this all the time. There's not a lot of level of compassion in there because you're a man, you got to be tough, but
Right.
to lose some stuff that you got planted in will bring that level of resentment in. So I
But
understand more so now where my father's mindset was. Again, I didn't agree with the fact that, look, you still need to maintain a relationship with your children, but
yeah.
I could
Right.
understand now clarity of how he would feel, because I didn't abandon my kids or nothing like that, but I could understand to where I
Mhm.
got hurt and I didn't want to fool with nobody no more, right? I didn't want to deal with nobody no more. And everybody hurt differently. You know what I'm saying?
So not to get into your dynamic, because I believe that's something for your mother to actually talk about. But I look at it like this here: when the separation happened, did she change?
She didn't. Not that I can recall. My
So
mother
so
didn't change.
so so the same loving person that we know today
Yep.
was
Same
back
person
then.
back then.
Mhm.
So everything that y'all needed during that time, you
Yep.
had.
I had.
You
Right.
never you didn't lose it.
Right.
So sometimes you got to look at it like this here: would you be the same person that you are right now
Mm,
if he was there?
Right. And that's the thing, Chris.
that part.
My mom made the best decision in leaving my father
For her kids,
for her
not
kids,
just her,
for
not
Not
her
just
just
her,
her.
children,
but
She
because
her
made it
and
for
the
her
family.
children,
because
because
of my
I
father.
because there could be some things, bro, that you don't remember
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
of course. But I give
that happened.
let me help you out one better. I do you one better because we were conversating one day, and my father's talking about getting he wants to get remarried. He's getting up there in age and stuff.
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I told to him, I said, well, pops, you have to kind of open up and do some things that you don't always like to do. You know what I'm saying? He don't like to, and he started breaking down. He said, Chee, that's not who I am. Man, I don't really have a lot of friends. I don't really like going a lot of places. I don't like doing a lot of different things. That's just not who I am. And him
Right.
saying that to me just clarified the fact that my mom made the most amazing decision in leaving my father, because had we been there, we wouldn't have been able to have those things. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be able to enjoy some of the small things in life, having fun and enjoying and doing different things, because he wasn't that kind of person. He was
Right.
just told me his personality. He was just having a conversation with me. It's like, nah, Chee, I don't get down like that. Chee, no, I don't really do that. I don't really do
He
this.
he's a
You,
person that doesn't want to conform.
right. You see what I'm saying?
But
So
here's
you,
the
you
thing:
can't
Conform.
marry somebody
you
like,
can't be selfish and wanna
right.
have a marriage.
Right.
You're looking for
Exactly.
a marriage for a woman to take care of you, but what are you gonna do
What
to
do you
help
bring to the
take care
table?
of her?
Right. So now it
Y'all
So
explains
supposed
why
to
my
take
so
care of
mom,
each other.
so
boom.
that kind of goes back to our conversation last Thursday. That's a bit of narcissism.
That part.
Yes. Right. Everything your
You
way.
want it your way,
Right.
and that's not how it's supposed to be.
You're gonna be
It
lonely
Exactly.
at the top.
you
It's
know what I
lonely at
mean?
the top.
And
Exactly.
let's be honest. It could have been a thing where your mom knew,
She knew.
but
That's what I'm saying.
she felt like
Yeah.
she could change him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when she realized she couldn't,
She was like, I'm done.
she's not fit to waste any more time. She's
Right.
not fixing to risk not only her happiness but her children's happiness. So she's going to go ahead and make this change, and it is what it is. But once again, she did not change. She still loves you. Matter of fact, that love for y'all probably kicked in
it never
1,000 times more.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
And me, just me knowing your mother, bro.
Right.
And I'm telling you, she is probably the man. She is probably she has an old school type spirit when it comes down to how she handles people. When it comes down to how she loves on people.
Let me tell you something.
Bro, she knew my name before. She knew my name, dude, before I met her.
Chris, let me tell you something, man. You probably don't remember this.
She's a people person.
Do you know a 704? Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We never locked the door. That's how many people was coming through our home. My mom had an open, when people say open door, my mom was like that. She really did. We didn't even remember. I remember locking the door.
She is the type, I'm telling you, she is the type of person that if anybody touched her, the whole hood gonna go after the homeboy.
Oh, right.
That's just how that's just how she is, man. And I mean, I don't care who it is that comes there. She has such a loving, inviting, warm spirit, bro. And that is rare in a lot of people today.
That's why, even to this very day, that speaks more about my father than it said about her.
Yeah, because the two don't mix. If he's the type of person that don't like people, but she
and she loves people. You see what I'm saying, Chris?
He don't like being around people, but people love being around her.
Watch this, Chris. Everything we're talking about now. Watch this, y'all. Everything I'm talking about now. Imagine not getting those answers. Right? Imagine not sitting here talking to my father and he just being himself and he's being open and honest with me. We just talking and he's like, "Chee, that's not who I am." You know what I'm saying? That I don't really get along with people like that. That ain't what I like to do. That. And then my mom is being who she is, lovable. You know what I'm saying? I'm now I understand.
Opposites did not attract on this one.
You see what I'm saying?
Did not attract.
I'm gonna share something with y'all. And it's gonna go right down this line right here.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I'm gonna just be real with it. So let's talk like this. Two brothers pass away.
Okay.
At the same time.
Okay.
The funerals have to be on the same day.
Okay.
One is at a storefront. One is at a large membership church.
How's that possible?
Two brothers.
Right. Why they're not the same thing at the same?
Why is it not the same thing? Because of how the two led their lives.
Separately.
Separately. The way the two led their lives, it shows. Most time when you have a funeral, man, you really know how that person touched a bunch of people.
Right.
By who's in the audience.
Right.
By
you're
right. If it's standing room only or if it's seats missing.
Man, you spoke. Hold on now. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful, Chris.
That says a lot about who you touched and how you're touching people and how you're impacting people. You're not being selfish. There's even with you listening to your father, Chee, and you're grasping his thought process in that moment, right? Even with that, you said, hey, your mom still made the right decision in what she was doing and how she handled things for the betterment of her sanity and yours, right? So, and when you talk to your father and you're giving him insight on how things should have been or how things could have been, right? And you're kind of guiding him on how to treat people in general when you're taking him somewhere that he needs help with.
Right.
That part, if there was one time you had said, I have to speak to him through scripture.
Right.
Because he will bring up scripture every time to justify the things that he's doing and the things that he's saying.
Right. Like you, man, it's so true because when he talks about getting married, right? My father wants to get married again. And so when we had this conversation, I said, you know, Pops, I can speak on this. One, I've married the wrong person, and I've now married to the right one. So I can speak from both sides of it. And I said, I've been married to my wife for a while. And it's amazing because my wife has an amazing spirit that's very kindred to my mom. You know what I'm saying? If you meet Christy has an amazing heart, amazing spirit, and she and my mom are just almost alike in their spirit. It's like they're inviting, loving, caring.
And I'm like my dad.
Watch this though.
You needed it.
I didn't turn out to be like my father because I'm not going to give up on my wife. You know what I'm saying? I can't have everything my way. You see what I'm saying? And so what happened in the dynamic of that was me talking to him about him getting married again. And he would always bring up the scripture. My mom would tell you this, wives, love, submit yourselves to your husband. You know what I'm saying? And
finish it.
Finish the rest of it.
Finish it. And he never finished it, right?
You're like, hold on, there's more.
Likewise, ye husbands. You never heard that part of the scripture.
Likewise ye husbands, right? Missed that likewise part.
When my father hit me with that, I hit him with this. I said, Pops, you do know that Jesus one day sat down and washed the feet of the disciples in servitude. I said, are you willing to do that for your wife? And it stunned him.
You probably said, I don't like feet.
But it stunned him because
you walking a lot.
Right. Yeah. Because in Christianity, as we find people quote the scripture that's relevant for what they want.
For them. Right? Yeah, they pick and choose. Yeah.
So you pick and choose. So when I hit him with that part, it was baffling for him because he kind of froze for a second.
What you gave him something to think about. You gave him something to think about.
I said, are you willing to wash your wife's feet? Right? Are you willing to massage your feet at night? You want to be married? These are the things you got to do. Right? Yeah. She want to meet people. She want to go to the movies, dinner, dancing. You can't say, I don't want to
enjoy each other.
Right. So these are little things now, as I'm understanding my father, to understand why my mom left, to understand how things are. So as an adult, the reason why we're having a conversation tonight is a lot of people have unanswered questions in their lives from a lot of your family members, whether it's mom, dad, aunts, uncles, or whatever. And there's certain stories that's circulating that family, and nobody wants to talk about it because nobody wants to ruffle no feathers. Nobody wants to say something, step on toes and all this other stuff. But you don't even understand. Once you get clarity on some of this stuff, man, it's like a burden get released. This stuff I thought of my father for years that I didn't understand until I actually sat down and talked to him as an adult, not as a child. As an adult, I'm like, boom, I get you now. Wow.
The thing is, okay. We've been on here multiple times and he's called you.
Right.
You don't even realize how you are chosen. You're chosen in order for him to be able to see the other side of everything.
Right. That's true.
He chose you.
Yeah.
God chose you.
God chose me because he told me that. He told me that. He said,
God chose you.
Yep.
Not even him. Because the thing is, he needs to release all of that. And there needs to be some kind of change in his life.
Right.
It's cool to read the Bible.
Right.
But if you don't read the Bible, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
You can read it like you read a book, or you're gonna read it like you in there.
But it's gonna catch up to you.
That's how you're supposed to read the Bible.
Apply
it. You have to read these things as if it's talking to you, because it is talking to you.
Which go back to listening. Go back to listening.
But that has to be a spirit thing. And if he's not getting that, if he wasn't getting it before, he will be getting it now.
Right.
Because he's in a place now to where if he's calling you, it's open.
Right.
It's open. Not just here, but here.
Here.
The heart is open.
The heart.
And he has to be in a place where he's going to receive. He's not just talking. He's not just gonna have it his way.
No, he's
because it's not about him anymore. You're in a latter part of your life, bro, to where God is trying to speak to you. And what better place to get it but through his own children?
That's crazy.
And this is where you're coming in. This is where you being who God told you to be.
That's right.
Is the thing that works. He can't have all too many, let's go back and forth, all that kind of stuff. No, he needs to be in a place to where if it goes left, he's not going to listen.
Right.
But you are in the place and you have someone with you that have the same loving spirit that your mother has. And I guarantee he sees that in Christy. I guarantee it.
Sees it. He tells me.
Guarantee it.
He tells me. And, Chris, he tells me that.
It's a flashback, dog. It's a flashback. And I guarantee when she comes into the room, he sits up. Yep. He sits up better.
Every time.
He adjusts up.
And Christy hugs him, right? When Christy give him a hug,
I'm a hugger.
You can tell, like, wow. And he tells me all the time, he said, Chee, you have a great wife, man. I can see her spirit. And so crazy. Christy and I took my father to the mall. This was how big was it? A few days ago? Last week?
Couple days
ago. Because
did you get him out of them loafers? Did you buy some shoes?
Yeah, he got sneakers now. He got plenty of sneakers. But here's the crazy thing. We were sitting down and getting a cinnamon bun, right, from the cinnamon place. We sat there and we're eating it. And we were talking about the past, just this upbringing, life.
Well, his upbringing.
His life, right? And something I never knew. I never understood why my father was the way he was, right? Because I'm like, he's just like he's always, just real strict and real disciplinarian about everything, but he's not really fun-loving, open, that kind of person. And he said something to me. My great-grandmother was very strict. And he said,
disciplinary. He used the word disciplinary.
Disciplinary. And he says when she died, it hurt him because he modeled his life and who he was from her. And I was like, wow, I never knew that. And he started to shed some tears because he missed her.
But she was the one who was there for him.
And he's the one, and she raised him into who he is. So my father is a reflection of her. You know what I'm saying? And I never knew that. Like I never knew that. The way he got his personality from.
She was probably a person who had to rear him in a way that he didn't get all of the affection and everything that he thought he probably should have. Right. Because she's how many sons did she have?
My grandmother.
I think he was the only. Well, he mentioned that he was the only one. It was a bunch of girls.
Right. My Uncle Earl, Uncle Ansel. Uncle Ansel's like a younger one. So for a period of time, it was just my father and the girls. Not the girls, my aunts. So,
in old thinking, a lot of times you have to sit there and be like, if there's no male around, I gotta raise this young man up to be a man.
Right.
So a lot of that not gonna be there.
Right.
In the same So in the same sense,
Mike said,
which is why I couldn't understand why my daddy didn't want to hug us.
Right. Now you start bringing some stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Because his mother was a loving mother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, where did you get this from? You know
right,
what I mean?
Right.
Where you get this from? You know what I'm saying?
But did he
right.
have a man raising him though? Did he have a man?
He did. My grandfather was also a minister.
Was he a hugger?
But men back then didn't do that. A lot of men, old school men, didn't do a lot of that.
No, he wasn't not to his boys. Not to his boys. He was different to his daughters, but not to his boys. Now, my grandmother, man, she was for a long time my favorite person. You know what I mean? She was the type of grandmother to where, as a child, you can go outside and play, or you can go talk to grandma, and you was gonna go and talk to grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the type of spirit she had. So I understand why I am the way I am now, because I started off as that same type, the hugging thing.
What made you change that?
I got Chee, a form of Chiano's mother that I ended up marrying.
Raquel.
Yes,
Queen Raquel.
She a bona fide sweetheart.
I call her Rock because she is my rock. Because the thing is, she changed a lot of that. She's soft. She came in a time of my life where I didn't know any good, and I couldn't see good in people because I've been done wrong in so many ways. I could not see good. So when she came into my life, well, let me switch that up. When God brought her into my life,
right,
I was able to see goodness in people. It made me have a different kind of outlook on the human species.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So
right,
when she was around, I smiled. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that know me, man. I was just having a conversation at the barbershop with someone who knew me since I was a child, and he's like, "Man, you was always angry. You was always upset. You was always mad about something."
Right.
And I don't know if you even seen me. Man, I laughed and joked, but it would leave. Right.
Wow.
I was always on guard. It was like I couldn't. Something wouldn't allow me to relax. You know what I mean? And I was very untrusting. I didn't trust people.
Right.
So whoever I had around me, I made sure it was two things. And there's nothing against you, brother. I could whoop them, and I could trust them. That's how I looked at you. And not that if we ever got into it or anything like that, I'm gonna just be honest with you, man. I probably would have beat the brakes off of you just because I had so much anger inside of me. But that's not nothing against you.
Well, Chris,
but at the same time, yeah, I mean,
but don't let this hat being backwards and the fact that I'm a God fan, man. If you think that I'm gonna sit here and let you and me a beat down, all the Jesus gonna come.
He's like, I'm not just gonna sit there.
You know what?
And let you
right.
Turn the other cheek, babe. Turn the other cheek.
That was
the other cheek.
That was
that's what was going.
That's it's crazy, man. But my mind. That's how I thought. That's how I thought. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want nobody around me that I feel like it hurt me. So that was. But you know what I'm saying?
And so a lot of people to say that, man. A lot of people. We have people around us that is safe for us.
Yeah.
So they don't hurt us, man, and don't understand there's a lot of stuff you got to get out. But man, this is great conversation. This is great conversation.
Exactly. That's a fact.
That's true.
A fact.
You know,
that's a fact.
This is so much more we can get into this. We're gonna do probably a whole nother show on just on that alone, parenting and kids and affection and
because
some of these men
put something in here too, talking about the kids.
Yeah, because a lot of parenting and stuff, we don't get into that. That's gonna be another topic. I'm gonna share this right here because this is gonna be what we're gonna cover Thursday. I want to get off of this, but I'm gonna start.
Before you share that, man, I just want to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
And I'm speaking to Christy on this one. At the beginning of the show, Chiana was showing you appreciation, and automatically you want to turn it and give it back to him.
That's a habit.
I know it's a habit. It's a great habit, but at some point in time, you really have to sit back
and just receive it, baby.
And just receive it.
Just receive it.
Just receive it.
Yeah.
Because you're a type person. My wife is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
We can say whatever we need to say to you, but automatically you're going to give it right back to us.
Right, because you're giving spirit.
Reciprocation.
Because you have that kind of spirit.
Yes.
Allow someone to bless you.
Right.
Just
it's so amazing, Chris. It's so amazing because it's so amazing. We have this conversation all the time. I tell my wife, I said, my wife is a giver, and she's a hugger. She's a giver, and what a lot of people don't understand is what my role is that it's not just I protect that part of her, but also to a place where in allowing her to just be herself. Yeah. That Chris is the kind of person that a lot of people sometimes, even by default, they may not necessarily want to, but they pull, right?
Yes.
So yes. she always have withdrawals, right? It's like a bank account. But the problem is what a lot of people don't realize is that people like that, you have to deposit into them. You know what I'm saying? And I have to get her to understand that part because she'll just just go that way. And I have to help her like, honey, let me deposit back into you.
Yes.
Right. Let me. Yes. I do it all the time. I said, let me do it. I said, there are a lot of selfish people who will take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what they do because they know you'll actually do it. You have an amazing heart. But
yes,
we literally have battles where I'm like, she's like, baby, let me do this. And I'm like, no, let me do this. And no, let me do that. No, let me do this. We go back and forth, and it's like, allow me to do that for you because you can't just always be, withdrawn all the time without getting a deposit, right? The account go to negative. You know what I'm saying?
I am, and I guarantee you are the same way. We are protectors. We are protectors of our wives' hearts.
Right.
We are protective.
Yes.
Always. We have to be the protectors because our wives' hearts are so open and giving that sometimes they don't know when to stop.
Stop. Yep.
I don't have no problem. I have no issue with somebody.
Say the word no.
Getting mad. No, I don't have no problem with. I don't have any issue with someone getting mad at the fact that I shortstop that stuff.
Right. And you have to.
She can't do it.
Yeah.
She can't do that.
Right. You got to protect her.
Nah, that's enough. I don't have no problem with putting a spotlight on her and say, hey, I appreciate her. What about you?
Right.
Because you ain't shown anything.
Right.
You haven't shown any kind of appreciation. Right. You cannot sit there and take everything from my wife and leave her and don't deposit back and leave her worrying about your stuff, thinking about your stuff while you sleeping good.
Right.
I ain't gonna allow that.
And there are battles we've had. There are battles that we've had because a lot of women, this is good for people who are listening, a lot of women don't realize that part. So we would bump heads. Christy and I would bump heads because she would think that I'm trying to control her, be like, no, let me just be me kind of thing. And I have to explain it to her where she understood. I'm like, no, you're being you, but I'm your guard dog.
Yeah.
I'm your guard dog. So as being the husband and the man that loves you, what you do affects me as well. Because you and I got the same last name. So it's us in this battle. You're not alone, right? So
y'all don't be seeing it, man. Y'all don't see it. You just see, you don't. No, you don't.
Sometimes we want to take care of things too now.
If you saw it, if you saw it, you would know when to stop.
Right.
But you don't see it.
Your heart, You just give. You see,
you have something in you. You have something in you, and it's not a bad thing. And
you don't want to see people hurt. You don't want to see people in a certain shambles. You're a problem solver. You want to solve the problem.
You are a problem solver.
Right.
Your phone, I guarantee you, your phone rings more than you pick up and call people.
Bingo.
My day is full.
She just said it. Bingo. She just said it. She just said it.
Your phone.
She just said it.
Your phone rings more than you pick up to call people. And the majority of the times when your phone rings, somebody needs something, wants something, they need you, they need the compassion part of you. Because people like you are rare. They're very rare. Many people in the world are not compassionate to somebody else.
Right.
Even when they're going through something bad.
And don't change.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
Don't change. But allow Chee to do what he do.
Do what I do. It's better. We've been together a while now. So
let him.
It's way better.
And for those out there, who they right now they in their feelings. It is what it is. She's gonna be who he's gonna be. Chris is gonna be who he's gonna be. And when we're gonna always be the protector. We're gonna always be the protectors of our wives' hearts.
If you come across somebody that, and it doesn't have to be my wife, or if you come across somebody that's amazing in your life, and God has given you the honor and the privilege to be a part of that person's life, don't take that for granted, because that don't come every day. Good people who have an open heart, open mind, and try to see the good in people, them kind of people don't come around every day. You mess around, lose them people, you lose a whole lot of things in your life. Because them kind of people, you'll find a whole lot of people that are selfish, self-centered, don't care. But you find somebody that actually cares about what you feel, what you think, and has zero obligations to it. They don't want nothing in return. They'll give their shirt off their back for you. I'm telling you, man, you got to cherish some kind of people.
A narcissist needs a Christy in their life. A narcissist needs a Raquel in their life.
I'll cut them off after a while.
But here's the thing: that narcissist don't know a Chee.
No, they do. No, Chris, I'll do one better.
They don't know Chris because
they know us. They try to avoid us.
They try to avoid us, but I guarantee if they latch on to somebody we love, they gonna get to know us. They gonna get to know us real quick.
It's a done deal.
Look, they gonna see another side of Christy too. There's other sides to Christy now.
Oh yeah, there's two sides to that coin. I've seen that. So
yes, you have, honey.
Chee, you see it. Everybody else ain't.
Everybody don't see it.
They get to see it too if they cross.
If they cross you, but it takes a lot to.
Christy, I've never seen you frown.
Oh no!
You know what? A lot of people
look at you right now. I've never even seen you frown.
Man,
I've never seen you frown.
Let me give y'all a little nuggets.
I have.
Let me put it to this way.
There's seasons and
there's situational things. Let me tell you something. I love my wife.
Probably has something to do with your kids. It's probably got something to do with your kids.
The kids can get you, but I have.
Or spouse. Or
me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have push buttons in my life.
He knows what buttons to push.
I do know what buttons to push. And
so I'm like, really? You want to bring this out of me?
Yeah. And let me tell you something.
Don't bring the worst out of me.
And when I tell you,
you won't see that little nice side.
Listen, most nice people who have amazing heart like that, that other side, when
it's scary, bro. It's scary. I speak from experience, my dude. It's scary.
I would never want to see
that. I love my wife. Let me tell you something. If she ever got hot at you, understand that's probably gonna be the last time.
If you get to if you get to that place with her, man, But listen,
that's another thing where I had to. Hey, let me protect y'all from her.
Hey,
y'all don't want to
play. I'm listening.
Listen, all right. So let me get to the second part. We're about to get out of here, but this is what's gonna come up on Thursday. So don't miss Thursday's show, y'all. We're gonna be talking about this right here. Let me play this little clip and talk about it for a brief second. All right.
You know what I mean? 4,800. I could make you 2 million. You like, it don't work like that, man. But you got to explain to him like life isn't like that. And money isn't free, and no one's giving out opportunities. If it sounds too good to be true, it's really. And then he like, oh, you don't believe in my dreams. The cousins in your grandma's living room saying, yo, man, I got this play. I want to, if you just give me, you know what I mean? 4,800, I could make you 2 million. You like, it don't work like that, man. But you got to explain to him like, life isn't like that. Money isn't free, and no one's giving out opportunities. If it sounds too good to be true, it's really. And then he like, oh, you don't believe in my dreams. You're not. The cousins in your grandma's living room saying, yo, man.
All right, so we're gonna talk about this on Thursday because there's some levels to this right here.
There's a lot of levels, yeah.
Right, and I'm gonna talk. Yeah. I'm gonna bring in the crew, so
I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing.
I'm gonna make some calls tomorrow, but I'm gonna have some people on here with me on Thursday.
I'm not gonna say anything.
We're about to break that down right there because
guarantee I'm loading my clip right now.
Load your clip because there's some stuff about that right there.
Instant ready.
That I don't. I'll put it to you this way: we're gonna talk. We're gonna get CheesTake and everybody take on that. But there's some perspective on this where there's good, there's bad, there's some dissecting, but it's reflective in our community. And there's a lot of things that I feel like is a mindset in our community where when we have people who have resources and they have the ability to do things, they don't. But they'll help somebody else. Or they'll take those resources and go ball out and wild out and go to clubs and do all kind of stuff. But then they want to act a certain. Okay, so
it's a key word that he said in that. But I'll bring it up.
So we'll bring that up. So that is Thursday, y'all. You got a free clip of the Thursday, and that's what we're gonna be talking about, right? We're talking about family thing, talking about money and family, right? You know, lending money. I've seen families get torn apart because of money. You know what I'm saying? I got even right now. Excuse me, on my dad's side, you know what I'm saying? My aunt and, you know, both my aunts and some stuff going on with money and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that, money and family, on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss that, guys.
Hey, Chee.
Yes.
When you see your dad next time, man, kiss him on the cheek and see how he reacts.
I'm not kissing my father's cheek, man. You trying to get me boxed down, man.
No, hey, it is what it is. You're grown now. What are you going to do?
Man, I gave him a hug. Have you given him a hug?
Listen, he could probably get a hug, but my father, I don't think that'd be kind of weird. I don't remember last time I hugged my father.
Let me tell you something.
But I'll do it. I tell you what. I see my father, I'm gonna give him a hug. I'm gonna shock him.
This is the thing.
Shock him and give him a hug.
There's no such thing as a generational curse, brother. There's generational habits.
Yeah,
habits.
Change those things, man.
100.
Give him a hug. You know what? I can't remember last time I did hug my father. That's crazy.
Well, so go past that. Kiss that man on his face and see what he says. And if he try to fight, kiss him again. Like, what you gonna do?
You like one level at a
time.
No. And see I don't know if you watched his face.
This is what. And understand something, and I'm saying this from my heart, my bro. You never know if that be the last time.
Isn't that true? That's true.
Always make that next time like it's the last time.
Last time.
That's right.
You know, it's so funny. I was telling Chris that.
If you, I know you love him. I know you do, because you wouldn't be talking about him.
Oh, absolutely.
You wouldn't have been going through all this turmoil with everything that we done spoke on off these cameras.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, don't shock his spirit.
I am, man. You know, it'd be crazy. It'd be kind of
sometimes
crazy.
you have to teach people through being an example.
Yeah,
I can't remember last time.
I'm pretty. Chrissy, you haven't kissed him on the cheek yet, have you? You just gave him a hug.
I don't know where his face been.
Hey,
neither do I. So there you go. But I give a hug, though.
I'm comfortable with hugs.
Hey, just bring you some sanitizer, you know. Hey, because I'm telling you, man, with how my wife was with my father, it's the thing that changed a whole bunch. It's the thing. I don't know what it is about those loving wives, that can change the hearts of
It
a
does,
heart.
man.
You
It
know what I
does.
mean? So,
Oh,
and
he started saying thank you. I was like, what? I said,
yeah,
Yeah,
he
man. My
calls you
father
to
broke
say
down,
thank you
man.
now?
Yeah, he
it
calls me, tells
starts
me
like
thank
that,
you.
man. That's
My
hey,
father
that's a
blessed. Let me tell you something, Chris. And I'm gonna say to anybody just on record it. My father blessed me every day, man. Every single day, my
good,
father poured blessing. My father's a praying man, a Christian praying
good.
man. But and he may
Yes,
have his flaws and he have his situations, but it's biblical. When you get a blessing from your father, man,
yes,
it's another level because
yes.
my father tells me, he said, because you look out for me, man. He said there's blessings that come your way that you could never, ever imagine. And Chrissy will tell you that I haven't told anybody, but Chrissy will tell you, man, there are blessings that's happening for us.
Yeah, brother.
Doors are open for us, man, that I can't even imagine whatever happened just because of my father's
You gotta
blessing me.
understand.
You know
You
what
have to understand something, man. The prodigal son goes both ways. It
I'm
ain't.
saying?
It ain't. It ain't just about the son, man. That could
No.
be a father that goes away
That's
and comes
true.
back.
I think that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got to really, when we go biblical, let's think about it
Yeah,
because it
that's
has to
true.
go both ways, my dude. So,
Right.
hey, man, what you are doing exactly what God created you to do.
Great to do. That's it, man.
Right.
I'm
That's
just
it.
a just a
You
vessel,
honoring
man.
your father. You're
That's
honoring your
it.
father.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
and
That's
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 it,
what we were
man.
told to do. You honoring your
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
father, bro.
that your days may be long, man. So I'm
That's it.
definitely
Mm-hmm.
doing my
That's it.
part. You know what I'm saying? And this
Yeah.
this this is definitely, man. He's getting ready to
Little
leave
ordained.
soon. He's getting ready to leave soon. So, the cool thing about it is that throughout this whole situation,
Hmm.
I'm at peace now. That
Good.
Mm-hmm.
when my father leaves this earth, and he will one day, that all the memories and everything I have of my father is not built on
Hmm.
resentment. You know what I'm
Good.
saying?
Right.
It's built on
Good.
conversations and stuff and seeing him in a different light. You know what I mean? And it
Right.
actually made me, man, it's touching for me.
And that's
Um,
that's that's what it's supposed to
you
be. It's
know,
supposed to be, and that's your experience. So
that's my experience. I can't speak for anybody
that's
else, but
That's
for
yours.
right.
mine,
That's yours.
That's
yeah.
You
right.
there won't be any kind of regrets with whatever
I don't
happened.
have any, man, and that's a cool thing, man. I don't have
And
any
that's the
regrets
thing.
now. No unanswered
That's
questions. I
God
got all
that's
the
God
the
knew
thing.
what
questions I
he
had
was
answered.
doing.
He
He
knew what
was,
he was
man.
God
doing.
knew what he
And
was
and
doing.
Yes.
and another thing is another thing, and I'm gonna drop a gem on this one. Another thing that's happening right
Mm-hmm.
now is you making that man a better man for every woman that comes to his life after you. After this whole situation, you're making that man a better man because he's able to see what you are to your wife. He's able to see what he should have did years ago.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
part.
I never thought of
That
that, Chris.
part.
A good point, man.
So
Mm-hmm.
y'all, the two of you, in his life at the time that he needs him most, because he right now is reflection time. He's in the latter
Right.
Man,
part of his life. You don't know how long he's going to be here. We don't know how long we're going to be here.
that's
Right.
true.
So each day, each moment, we need to live the life
Live the fullest,
that
man.
God gave us and live it for Him.
That's right.
And
Be a
as long as we,
reflection of
That's
God.
reflection.
that's
Well,
it. When you look
well,
in the mirror, what are you supposed to see? What are you supposed to
Uh,
see?
that's it.
At some
a
point in time,
reflection of God.
you need to be seeing God.
That's it,
You need
I,
to
man.
be
And
I
we're
seeing
gonna
God.
talk
see
about
I'm
that.
the
And we're gonna have some
man
shows.
in the mirror.
Exactly.
Asking him to change his
We're gonna go to Michael
way.
Jackson, baby, from the Lord
See,
to Mike,
Yeah.
huh? We're going from
hey,
the Lord to
that's
Mike, huh?
if it wasn't
Hey,
Christy, it would not be anybody else.
Exactly. But listen,
I
y'all,
love it.
that we're
I
gonna
love
end
it.
that on this amazing note. Stay tuned
Yes.
for Thursday. Gave you a little sample. Thank you guys
Yes.
for tuning in. Thank you guys for all the love and support that you show us, man. We love doing this. We always put God first, man. And this was a
Yes.
great
Always.
show tonight.
Always.
Um,
See, when we
you
bring
know,
God in and we don't get no
we,
perverts.
Yeah.
yeah. Thank God we're not having Mike the pervert on
No
here. Yeah,
pervert
thank
Mike
you.
on here.
Pervert Mike on
I
here.
don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's
Oh,
the enemy trying to creep in.
it was another
That's what
Mike,
it
not
was.
this
Right.
Michael on here now. There
Yeah.
was another Mike. I was like,
Yeah, it's
who is
another Mike.
this?
Not my brother Mike that was on here. So,
Right. No.
but
I
we
don't
out
know
of
who
here,
that was.
y'all. We love y'all. God bless
Yes.
y'all,
God
and
bless.
we'll see y'all on Thursday.
Yes.